Hello, my name is Jeremy, just your average everyday guy. That is until sometime in my early 30s, I developed a spinal condition known as ankylosing spondylitis. It took me from this, 6 foot tall, to this, not 6 foot tall. But I wasn't going to let that get me down forever, so eventually I kicked some bad habits and started fighting back. I still get some pretty strange looks, but I'm now doing what I love, traveling and adventuring. My goal is to show other people with disabilities or anyone facing challenges that your best days don't have to be behind you and that there's always hope. So thanks for joining me, the Handicapped Hiker.
On the last episode, we wrapped up our time in Arches National Park with a pre-dawn hike to catch sunrise at Delicate Arch. We then drove south for a quick stop at Goosenecks State Park and Forrest Gump Point on our way to the Navajo Nation Tribal Park in Monument Valley. Day 4 began with an early morning hike of the Wildcat Trail, followed by the 17-mile loop drive through Monument Valley, before heading on to Grand Canyon National Park. Day 5 begins with one of the most difficult hikes I've ever attempted. My much older brother, sister-in-law, niece, both nephews, and myself have been waiting over a year for this day to come. This was the main event of the road trip, and by far the hardest of the 10 trails on my challenge list.
Angel Trail.
Bright Angel Trail in Grand Canyon National Park. This trail is no joke and not to be taken lightly. Although there are some insanely fit people out there who do the rim to rim like it's nothing, for most people, it is a very strenuous and risky trail. But if you're able to, I recommend everyone venture down into the canyon at least a little bit. Just remember, every step you take down, you have to take back up, and the difficulty of that can surprise you. But just a couple hundred feet below the rim can be a very unique experience without all the commotion and noise above.
And we're off. We got a long way to go. If you encounter the donkeys coming up, you're supposed to get over to the rock face. Oh, duh.
Okay, are you ready to hear one of the dumbest things I've ever said?
See, this ain't bad. This is... If it stays this steep the whole way, it's just a really long walk. I think my treadmill was steeper than this.
Yeah, I just said that. Walking downhill, not even a couple hundred feet from the top. I probably should have knocked on wood, like one of these logs embedded in the trail. After all, I'll be tripping over every one of them on the way back up.
Here come the slowpokes.
I'm eating breakfast.
We're hungry. Where's the next rest stop? There's a squirrel up there climbing on a guy. All right.
I really feel it.
Okay, if you're ever hiking down the Grand Canyon and catch yourself saying something like, my ankles are hurting or my knees are stiffening up, do yourself a favor, turn around and start climbing out because you are going to have a bad day.
It's crazy how quiet it gets as soon as you stop.
Yeah. It's hard to believe there's shuttle buses and thousands of people looking for parking up there.
Yeah. Cars, trains, restaurants, and probably a million photos being taken.
It's dead silent. Not even any birds.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning.
What are you gonna say?
Good, how are you?
Looking forward to this long climb.
The plant you see here are the living desert. They grow, what's that say? Oh, that's a B. By the inch and die by the foot. Wow.
Oh, this looks a lot different. Yeah, these are the trees that look like bushes from up there.
Yeah. Been here for quite some time.
Oh man, my knee's starting to hurt. I hope that's nothing serious.
Yeah, that probably is something to worry about. You're in the bottom of the Grand Canyon with over a 3,000-foot climb ahead of you. What you're about to see could have been a very bad situation. As you may have noticed, we've been stepping off to the side of the trail for other hikers. That's because trail etiquette is that up hikers have the right-of-way.
He's coming this way.
If I had been just 10 feet further down the trail, I would have stepped aside for this other hiker and been right on top of this snake.
Yeah, get out of his way. Right? Okay, thanks.
Tell those people down there that there's a rattlesnake whenever they'll make it.
Yeah, will do. Thank you.
There's a rattlesnake right there.
Go up on the rock.
We were very lucky that he spotted it and nobody was hurt.
He's a big one.
Right there. That's definitely a snake.
Here we are at Havasupai Gardens. Many maps and most people still know it as Indian Garden, but the name was changed in late 2022 out of respect for the Havasupai people who were forcibly removed from the land in the 1920s.
There's a rattlesnake a couple hundred feet up the trail, guys.
Okay, thank you. They're good eating. Like on the trail? And...
Yeah, it was right on the edge under a little tree.
Okay.
My youngest nephew Nathan and I arrived at least 30 to 40 minutes ahead of the rest of the group. I had every intention on continuing to the river, but the longer I sat here, the more my thoughts started catching up with me. I knew I was already hurting and tightening up. I was recounting every step down into the canyon and beginning to question whether I had it in me to climb out. I was nearly falling into the trap that I had read so many warnings about. I knew then that the only right decision was to start climbing out. So after a long rest, snacking, and refilling water, I reluctantly started heading back up the trail. Nathan was the only one who decided to attempt reaching the river. I'd love to have that youthful energy back, but honestly, I'm just happy to be walking.
I'm not too sure if you can see it, but over there, in between the rock and the actual canyon wall, there's a bighorn sheep. Now, he was a little bit further over here, and I was coming along the path, and there's a couple corners and whatnot, so the wall is kind of hidden. The path gets hidden around the turns in the wall. So I came right around and I seen him maybe 25 feet away, maybe a little bit more. And so I started walking away, and I've been watching him, but he's just sitting on this path, and now he's just sitting there staring. I'm probably 2 miles away from the rest of the group. They all turned back at Indian Garden to go back up to the rim of the canyon, and I figured I was going to go to the bottom, but probably roughly about 2 miles in, I'm going to take this as my sign to turn back, because I've been sitting here for maybe 10 minutes and this bighorn sheep will not move. I'm not sure, but I'll take that as my sign. I don't know how aggressive these things are or how you're supposed to handle the situation like this, so I'm just keeping my distance. It's a male. He's got great big rack of antlers, or whatever you want to call them, horns. Big rack of horns. He keeps walking closer and closer. The view down here, though, is actually more insane than anything I think I've seen so far on this hike. I mean, it's just insane. You can only imagine what the the bottom would be like. But I'm gonna turn back, walk up. There's another guy coming up the canyon, and he's running towards the bighorn sheep. So I'm unsure. He's probably a little bit more skilled and knows what to do. But like I said, it's more insane down here than I think any other site thus far on the hike. And it's a shame that I'm turning back, but maybe if that guy catches up to me, I'll ask him what to do in a situation with a sheep like that. You really get close to the edge as well. You really end up getting closer to the edge through here, which is cool. I mean, you get just drop-offs everywhere.
With every step I'm taking back up the trail, my concern is growing.
Looks like the guy spooked the sheep almost back up the hill. But like I said, the view is incredible. The others should have walked at least like 1 more mile, in my opinion. Now I'm gonna learn the lesson of uphill. We're getting closer to Indian Garden. We're gonna pass, yep, this is the first stream. So we're passing this one again. Let's see. Step. My shoes aren't waterproof, so I'm not trying to dunk them. There we go. No pun intended. Those are Nike dunks. Dunk them. Dunks. I wonder how the other folks are going about right now. Let's see. Been away from them for a little bit of time. At this rate, I'm not gonna miss dinner. I was gonna walk to the bottom and see the Colorado and everything, the bottom of the canyon, but I was gonna probably end up missing dinner. It's ultimately not too bad. We had 2 groups. It was me and Uncle Jeremy, and then my mom, my father, and my brother and sister. So we were kind of split apart. Me and Uncle Jeremy made it to Indian Garden about 40 or more minutes before the second group. And we sat there for a while. I ended up sitting for a whole hour, and that really kind of took away my wind. And then to get moving again, now the sun's out, it's hot. Because once you stop after going down all them hills, your legs really start to stiffen up. The muscles, the joints, everything. From just all they're like really big steps. And then you hit the rock and your ankle turns one way. And it's quite a treacherous thing. It's not comparable to walking, in my mind, 15 miles, around your town where it's flat on sidewalks or pavement. Out here, it's, you're constantly stepping over different things like that all the way through, which is a hike. I mean, everybody knows hiking's different, but it's definitely starting to heat up though. But I'm in the shade again, just like Moab, where you hit the shade from the walls and you get the wind blowing through. You almost feel like you're in air conditioning. It's very nice. You can hear the water running down through here. The creek is right there. That's what runs into that waterfall that we seen a little bit ago. But once you get down here, I mean, you're really around these canyon walls. Not that we weren't earlier, but, and the camera doesn't do any of this justice. I don't think it'll ever will.
I'm not gonna lie. This is like an 8-hour whooping. But it's worth it if you can do it. Wow.
So, I'm almost to Indian Garden now. I can tell because I'm starting to get a lot more larger trees. You can see there's a power line over there. And of course, I've seen the sign. It's a lot shadier here. Yeah. And as well as I could hear people's voices, because there tends to be a lot of people at this stop, because currently the only two water locations that I know on the main Bright Angel Trail is Indian Garden and of course the bottom. So I still have plenty of water, so I don't think I'll stop in Indian Garden. I just pass through, or maybe I'll just do a quick refill in the one bottle that's getting halfway through. So sun's definitely starting to hit. It's almost noon, I think. But yeah, those clouds earlier from the little bit of rain that was coming through definitely was helping keep us shaded, keep us out of the heat. So onward I go.
I didn't say anything out loud, but I'm sure the rest of the group could see that I was struggling.
I think I'm on the over halfway in between Indian Garden and the 3-mile checkpoint. So it is getting quite hot, and I'm taking a couple little more breaks, just 30 seconds in the shade, and then I keep moving, maybe every so many minutes. It's definitely warm. The sun definitely plays a large part in making it more difficult, but just keeping hydrated and keeping up on the snacks, and it's not too bad. So I'm gonna keep moving. Hopefully catch up to the others eventually. It is definitely getting steeper, but we'll make it. Yeah, Indian Garden's way down there. Oh. Made it.
Whose idea was this?
Yeah, right? It was his idea.
I know.
It was his idea originally to do all 15.
Yeah. Daddy is
and Dad wanted to go with me.
well, Dad.
But I felt as if Dad seemed like he was honestly moving kind of slow.
Dad's struggling on the down because of his knee hurts, I guess,
Yeah,
more than you realized. But on the way up, it's not bothering him. Now,
Yeah.
Jeremy, on the way down, it's great.
but up's the hard.
It's hard for him.
Yeah.
So here I am at 1.5 Mile Rest House, and I am completely spent. I have nothing left. Up until this point, I was worried, but now I'm just flat out scared. My heels are bruised. I have several blisters. Everything from my ears down is sore. My spine is swelling. I feel every nerve firing. I can barely lift my legs. I am in trouble. I sat here gasping for air and staring at that emergency phone pretty hard and fearing the worst. But the longer I sat here, the more I thought about all the planning that went into this, all the training, all of the sacrifices I made, and how hard I worked to get here, how hard I pushed myself, even on holidays, weekends, days I just didn't feel like doing it. I pushed through setbacks, aches, pains, injuries, sickness, sweat, tears, self-doubt. I waited over a year for this day to come, and it's here, right now. And there's 1.5 miles of steep switchbacks between me and success. I'm not giving up now. I don't care how overly dramatic this sounds or how easy this might be for some people. For me, this is my Super Bowl. This is my moment to shine, to prove myself to myself. I'm gonna drag myself out of this hole one step at a time. Looking back now, I wish I would have filmed more of the climb out, but I was just too worried and too focused on the task at hand. And I'm not too proud to admit now that I was starting to lose it a little at the end there. I kind of distanced myself from the others because I was starting to tear up a little bit and fighting to hold my emotions together. There were other people that were starting to root for me and cheer for me along the way, and when my head broke above the plane of the rim, I was hit with the biggest sense of pride I think I've ever felt in my life. I know this might seem over the top to most of you, but I personally had never worked so hard for anything in my life. I had never put so much focus, time, and energy into a goal as I did this. I went from 10 years ago, barely being able to stand up and walk 10 feet, to just hiking 10 miles in the Grand Canyon. I may never feel that proud of myself again, but now I know I will never stop trying, and I wish everyone could feel that for themselves at least once in their life.
That's a hard no for me.
Jeremy,
I'll never go down there.
Jeremy kept blaming you. You did it though. That's awesome.
I still got 5 hikes left. No, I come up by myself. I don't know if he was ahead of me or behind me. I lost track of everything at the end. I was just staring at the ground, huffing and puffing, looking at one step at a time. Look, I need a shower. Shower and dinner now.
After a very long shower and quite a few Band-Aids, we piled into the van and headed down to the town of Williams for dinner on the original Route 66. And as you can see, I am limping. For the next 2 or 3 days, I will barely be able to move. I'm a little embarrassed to admit how fast I inhaled the largest burger they had on the menu and several drink refills. And now it's back to the canyon for some much needed sleep. After this hike, I swore that I would never go into that canyon again. And for several months, I was adamant about it. But you know the old saying, time heals all wounds. At the time I'm editing this video, reservations are already made, and we are going back to do the entire 24 miles, rim to rim. Be sure to tune in for the next episode, and we'll see you then.